Meet the GAC Aion V, what could be the best option if you're looking for a budget-friendly electric SUV. It's a mid-sized model and it does have plenty of standard spec and tech. The pricing is impressive and so is the EV driving range. We'll cover all that, I'll show you the interior, we'll talk about the powertrain and some great alternatives too in this review. So thanks for subscribing and let's check it out. The Aion V has landed bang in the middle of the highly competitive electric SUV from China class. And let me tell you, this offers plenty for your money. And if you are willing to spend your money or at least make an order before the end of 2025, you're getting even more because the brand has some deal sweeteners that might make it more appealing straight off the bat, including a 22 kilowatt AC home charging station, $1,000 cash back, so that's an even bigger discount on the standard pricing, which we'll get to in a sec, plus $500 worth of public EV charging credit and free delivery. So look, I reckon that means that this is going to be even more appealing than the price suggests it should be, because it is competitively priced across both grades. There are two to choose from. They both share the same powertrain and battery. We'll get to that shortly, but let's talk about what you're getting for your money as standard. Now this is a high grade one, but even on the base model, you're getting plenty of great features, including full LED lights, 19-inch alloy wheels, auto high beam, you've got a panoramic glass roof, hands-free power tailgate, an 8.8-inch digital instrument cluster, a 14.6-inch touchscreen media system with digital radio, sat-nav, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There's in-car Wi-Fi. There's also an app to connect up your phone and use controls of the car using that. You've got heated leather-wrapped steering wheel. You've got a 9-speaker sound system, power adjustable front seats, heating and ventilation for the front seats, even on the base grade, and dual zone climate control, as well as a few other options. And then if you choose this luxury high spec model, you get a few more really great features, some that might surprise you for the money, and it is a pretty affordable price, I gotta say, including combination PVC and leather upholstery. There's 8-point massaging for the front seats, a 6.6 litre refrigerator with heating as well, a second row tray table, sun visors with a larger vanity mirror and light, and you can get it with a space saver spare wheel in the boot if you want that. Now let's talk about some alternatives, because I think the price on this is pretty bloody good, but there are some options that you might otherwise want to consider. Now my personal pick in the EV SUV segment in this kind of price range is the MG S5 EV, because I think it has a really nice dynamism to it. It's rear wheel drive, which is different to this. This is a front wheel drive one. It does have a smaller battery. In fact, there's two different battery packs that you can choose from, and the pricing is pretty competitive. It starts at around 40 grand officially, but you'll get an even better deal on a small battery base model if you are shopping with a strict budget. It's nice inside and it feels comfy and it drives beautifully as well. Another option that you might want to consider if you are okay with something a little bit smaller than this is the BYD Atto 2, because it does have heaps and heaps of standard spec and tech. It starts at about $32,000. It does have a lot smaller battery and a lot less EV driving range, but the money might be talking to you. It is a very compelling choice if you are looking to spend as little as possible. But hey, if budget isn't necessarily that big of a deal and you just want a fantastic electric SUV around this size, it could be worth having a look at the Skoda Elroq. Now, it is a very attractive looking thing. It's lovely on the inside and it's from a European brand, and that might matter to you. I could understand if it did, but it's also got a decent amount of EV range for that entry level one. If you spend more, you get more range and more spec as well. But what do you think about those alternatives, or is this one going to be right for you? Have your say in the comments. Okay, I think this is one of the cutest little electric SUVs on the market. I think that these anime style headlights really do make it have a little bit more personality than some of the others out there in this segment. And look, it is bigger than you probably are thinking it is, and in fact bigger than some of those alternatives I mentioned. I'll put the dimensions on your screen now. It is more than 4.6 meters long on a lengthy 2.7 meter wheelbase, and it's pretty wide and reasonably tall as well for this type of vehicle. The roof rails add to the appearance of it being taller. And I also really like these 19-inch alloy wheels. I think they look fantastic. Nice to see Maxxis tires as well. They are a pretty good tire. Now, I do have some concerns when it comes to access to this vehicle because, well, you get keyless entry and start, of course, and there's little push buttons on there to lock and unlock the car, but it's just a bit awkward to do these handles, especially when you're doing it with your right hand. If you're right-handed and you're doing it on the other side, it's just a bit awkward. I found it quite difficult, quite honestly. And at the back, well, I think it's a really attractive rear end design too. I don't know what is making me think Toyota Ruckus here, but if you agree with me, have your say. I like the rear spoiler, I like the badging at the back. It's not too much, but just like lots of other Chinese SUVs, we've still got these big gaps down here, which should be filled up with some kind of finisher. Now, as I said, all versions come with an electric tailgate, which is good to see. And the boot space, as you can see, is actually pretty accommodating. I'll put the figure on your screen now so you can see how much literage capacity there is, or volume you might say. And let's have a look in this back area because, well, look, if you pull this up, you get a flatter load in space. It's just a matter of making sure that you have your alignment correct. There you go. So you've got a flatter load in space if you do need that, and that will allow you to have a bit more under boot space. But look in there, as you can see, in this particular car, it does have a tire inflator repair kit. It doesn't have the space saver spare wheel, which is available, but if you do lower that back down, you get a fairly usable amount of space. And in terms of the inclusions back here, there's a 12 volt, there's a shopping bag hook, there's a light and another shopping bag hook here. And you can also see that these back seats do recline quite a bit. So let me see if I can do it here. No. There's a little lever that is down in that seat. I'll show you what that looks like if I recline these back. So you can see right there, there is a lot of recline on those seat backs. If you want to sit back, relax and hang out in your EV, then this one might be a very good choice for you. Just keep in mind also though, as you can see, you've got 3 top tethers on the back. This fixed center headrest is a little bit different to some other cars on the market though. Right, let's check out the interior and see what it's like. All right, from the affordable Chinese EV playbook, lots of the elements may be, but I do have to say I like the feel and the vibe of this cabin. In this high-grade version, you're getting a number of really great features. This part fake leather seat trim is part of it, but also just have a look at this seat. Looks comfy, doesn't it? But if you're a tall person, you might find the lack of height adjustment on the base to be a little bit frustrating. There's also no adjustment to tilt the base up and down to make it more under-thigh supporty, if that's what you want. But look at this material finishing here. It looks very, very plush, I've got to say. And you've got nice trim that runs up onto the dashboard, an ambient lighting thing there that looks pretty neat as well. And you've even got nice soft padded sections where your knees will rest when you're driving. But then there's the steering wheel, which has a partly leather, partly not feeling leather bit to it. I like the steering wheel, but you will need to get used to these controls. Now, like lots of other new vehicles, these controls aren't just scrollers and pushers for most things about driving. They are multifunctional, and you will be able to adjust your side mirrors, for instance, using those. You have to go through the screen to make them happen. And then you've also got a number of controls here, but just have a look at this. That smudgy finish, I don't know what you even call that. It's like a reflective plastic chrome-ish shadow chrome finish. It's not very nice. I don't like it because it does show up so many smudges, and this has only had like a couple of sets of hands on it, so yeah, not great in my opinion. But there are also some controls there. You've got voice control, you've also got a favorite button there and another favorite button here, which allows you to configure different things on the screen. So you can have that one to be your radio adjuster, whatever it may be. You can have it to be your surround view camera system. This one is set up to toggle through the different screen modes, as you can see here. And I do think that this screen is actually pretty good because it's small, it's not in your face, it's not too big. You've got your digital speedo readout, and you've got a number of other readouts on there, including sat-nav if you're using sat-nav. Anyway, let's go back to this screen. So home screen controls, there's a number of different menus at the bottom of the screen here, as you can see, including this little toggle here, which will show up your tiles. You've also got a mobile link thing, so you can easily quickly go back into CarPlay. So you've got CarPlay there, or up here if you just want to go into your CarPlay settings. One thing, I don't know why this has happened for our market, but passenger airbag gets in the way of the time readout on the screen there on CarPlay. At least though, you do have the panel down below, which includes your climate system, and all those home buttons are available to you too. And that is all while Apple CarPlay is running. Drop down box doesn't work because I don't think there actually is one, but let's have a look. If we go back here, go to home, there's no drop down box there. So look, you've got a pull across box, which is different to other brands, obviously, and you can set this up to have a number of quick menus as well. And that is pretty neat, I'd have to say. You can also have it so that you've got car controls there, including a number of other settings that you might want to adjust, including your brightness. You've also got your power hold, so that will basically change the mode of the powertrain, and yeah, plenty more besides that, driving modes and so forth. So there's plenty of adjustment available to you, and again, configurability to that as well, including closing and opening your sunshade and adjusting things like your lane departure and so forth. So if you want your lane departure over there, so you can easily turn it off, you can have it on that quick screen, and that's pretty handy. And you've also got a number of other car controls that you can quickly get into using that screen technology there. So yes, very configurable. If you want to go through some of the other quick menus, look, I recommend you go and sit in this car and spend some time in it if you are thinking about buying it, because the controls aren't as good as some other screens that I've dealt with, but they are still pretty manageable. So I like the fact that you've got ventilation and heating for the front seats on both grades. That is bloody excellent, and a steering wheel heater as well. And you can quickly turn on things like your ventilation. You can adjust it like so, and that is very nice to see. There's also seat massage controls for this high grade one. Look at those. You've got full back uncurl, which sounds like something I need. And then you've also got different settings for those massage functions. You can adjust things like your side mirrors there as well, and your seat positioning too. And you've got, I don't know why it's got GWM, BMW and JAC as your, I think Matt Brand might have been in here. And then you've also got some other controls here, like your energy consumption. You can see what's going on with your powertrains and so forth. And also what is going on with different elements of the driving experience. Plus your driver assistance stuff. So that will take a little bit of learning. If you don't want certain elements on, like your lane departure or your speed sign recognition stuff, you have to configure that to your requirements. It might be annoying, but hey, time will tell when it comes to the ownership experience for you. Now, here you've got a recirc adjuster to your demisters, your fan controller. So if you tap it, you can see, you can see what's going on with your air conditioning. They're actually manual vents, so they don't necessarily change if you go like that. So just keep that in mind. But I do like the fact that you've got all that controllability on the screen, or you can just have the controls down there to quickly adjust between different settings. Right, now back here you'll see you've got those vents. The one thing I am a little bit annoyed by is they don't have that much movement to them, and you can't actually get that much flow if it's on like 7 or 8 even. At 10 it will blow out a fair bit of air, but it also gets pretty noisy. Now here, wireless phone charger, 50 watts, which is great, and you've got some cup holders with little grabbers, and in here is your party trick. This is your fridge. It can be set to 49, 50 degrees or something, and that is a hot bottle of water, because that's exactly what's happening in there. You can set it down to be fridge temperature as well, so if you want to keep things cool, you can do that. You can do that on the screen, or you can do it by the screen in the back, which I'll show you shortly. Down below you will see there you've got extra storage space, 12 volts and USB ports, and it's otherwise pretty practical too, with good sized pockets in the doors, nice soft materials where you'd expect them to be. You've got your overhead sun visors with illuminated vanity mirrors. They're big, but that gets in your way, so don't drive when you are looking in the mirror. please. And here, these visors don't actually adjust out for extra adjustability. Up here, you'll see you've got some controls for your lights and so forth. That button, I'm not sure what that is. That button, I think, is the power button. So it emergency powers off the vehicle. You've got an auto dimming rear vision mirror, and that bloke right there is a driver monitoring camera. Now, I had it switched off. It didn't actually seem that annoying, but we'll get to some of the safety considerations later on. Now, okay, before we jump in the back seat, I want to show you a couple of other things that I think are pretty novel in this car. There is no glove box, that's one thing, but you do get a little flip down here with a hook. So there's one there and one over there. That means you might be able to store bags or handbags or something like that. And the door handles, they're the same sort of disgusting looking material. That's my opinion. This very grimy looking finish, and that handle is a little bit weird, but actually a little bit nicer than some of the others out there in the segment. Now let's jump into the back seat and see what it's like. What's it like, you ask? It's really bloody roomy, people. There's so much space in the back here. Look at this. This seat is set for my driving position, and I've got like feet of room in between my knees and the seat ahead. I can stretch out. Big feet fit underneath there very nicely. And also the headspace is pretty impressive as well. With the shade closed, it's pretty cool. You can still feel a bit of heat coming through. Just keep in mind, that does let in quite a bit of heat. So on hot days, it might feel a bit like a hot box in here. Now, overhead grab handles, lights up there as well. And down here, you'll find some good inclusions. Mat pockets, bottle holders, ambient lights in the soft elbow pads. Look at that, that's colorful and pretty. And then you've got more soft material here and here. Your directional air vents are in the B-pillars. That's great for getting face height airflow. Good if you have a car sick prone kid. Like the fact that you've got normal looking door handles in the back. And down here, where you might usually find some other controls for climate and so forth, this is not your climate setting. You don't adjust it up to 48 degrees. It is a refrigerator control. So as you can see, you can adjust the fridge temperature, which is in there, by using this screen. That might be clever, or it might be frustrating. Another thing that might be frustrating, the only opening port for that is right there. So that might get tedious for the driver especially, and as you can see, you've got freezer setting as well, so you can put it on -15 and keep your ice creams cold until you get to the beach. I like that. USB port down there, mat pocket here. On this side you get a flip out desk, which is actually really handy in this high grade model. That's a nice inclusion, certainly going to be laptop or potentially iPad friendly for the kiddos, and a small pocket down below. The floor here is flat, meaning you can stretch out. You'll have enough space for 3 adults in the back. And speaking of the space, you've got ISOFIX points in the window seats, 3 top tethers, a flip down armrest, and as I showed you before, these seats really do have a level of recline. So you can lie back down here and really enjoy the experience in this car. I have to say, the backseat space is large SUV-like, and luxury large SUV-like in some ways too. Okay, let's talk about the powertrain. And look, the numbers might not necessarily tell the story here, because under the bonnet is a electric motor punching out 150 kilowatts and 210 newton meters, which is not very much for an EV like this. But it uses a single speed transmission and is front wheel drive. That's for both versions of this car, no all-wheel drive dual motor version. And the acceleration, 7.9 seconds 0 to 100. I'm not sure that really matters, but if you are one of those people who insists on having a really fast EV, this one probably won't be right for you. But let's talk about the charging stuff, because the speeds there might impress you. Before we talk charging specs, let's talk about this battery. It's a 75.2 kilowatt hour LFP battery. That's on both grades. You don't sacrifice the battery size or the EV driving range, 510 Ks if you choose the cheaper one, which is very impressive. But let's talk about the charging stuff, because your charge port is on this side. Front driver's side might be an issue if you are a street parker, because it's not necessarily the most convenient unless you manage to find a street that allows you to park on the right. But you've got AC charging at a maximum rate of 11 kilowatts, which is very good. You will need 3-phase power to get 11 kilowatts, but the absolute charging speed of that is actually pretty good, just over 8 hours for a full charge from empty to full. And when it comes to your DC charging, faster than lots of the rivals, 180 kilowatt DC charging. And if you can find a charger that's free and working, you should be able to recharge in a relatively quick time that you'll see on your screen. So less than half an hour to juice up from 10 to 80%. That is decent for a budget-focused electric vehicle. But I'd love to know if you think that the driver's side charge port location could be an issue for you. All right, speaking of drivers, let's go drive it. Okay, so how does it drive? Well, from my first impressions, which have been pretty light on, I have to say right now, I am impressed with this drive experience. It's probably not the most dynamic and it's probably not the most enthusiastic, but what it is a nice balance between feeling like a finished product and also feeling pretty good as a commuter car. Now, we are on the freeway south of Sydney heading down towards the coast, and it is cruising along here pretty nicely, I've got to say. I'm enjoying the ride comfort. It's a little fidgety at lower speeds. You do notice the wheels traveling up and down a little bit at times in higher speed situations too, but I don't think that it's uncomfortable by any measure. And I think also that the steering has a good amount of weight to it. It's quite hefty feeling actually, and when you do need to turn around at lower speeds, that might be a consideration. But there are multiple different drive modes and different settings that you can go into. It's just a matter of getting your head around all of the menus on the screen because there's quite a few to get to terms with. But I think that for me, I was really impressed with the lower speed responsiveness of the steering in terms of just being able to quickly park but also have a very nice tight turning circle in a car like this. It's a nice win. It doesn't feel too heavy on the road, and also this powertrain, it's pretty good. It's not necessarily a firecracker. Don't go thinking that you're getting the most enjoyable acceleration experience or the most thrilling acceleration, but it is still pretty urgent when you put your foot down. Even if I put my foot down now, it does throw you back a little bit. And look, for EV customers, it's probably going to be enough without being too much, and I think that's actually a pretty good thing. Now, there's also a number of different regen braking modes as well, and you can adjust those to suit your preferences. And the brake pedal feel at lower speeds was pretty good, I've got to say. It's all feeling quite promising in terms of the drive experience. And other things that I want to call out include the fact that you do have pretty decent visibility around the vehicle. You have to go on the screen to adjust your side mirrors, so keep that in mind. But there is a very, very good surround view camera system which you can trigger on with the press of a button on the steering wheel if you set it up that way. So that is handy too, especially if you're a nervous parker. You just want to have a better view around the vehicle. But the rest of the vision from the driver's seat is pretty good. Now, there's a few things I want to call out in terms of the safety stuff. Now, as I said, this is not the most stringent teardown of this car in terms of the review, but I will tell you that I haven't found it to be too frustrating in terms of the lane keeping assist. It seems to do a pretty good job, and it doesn't beep at you to warn you that you're outside your lane. But there is a driver monitoring camera, and I've turned it off, and I've also turned off the speed sign recognition system because it seemed to be really insistent at, well, lower speeds in particular. And maybe you'll like that. Maybe having that extra little bit of warning about your speed might be something that you enjoy, but for me, no thanks. The controls are all pretty easy to get to terms with as well. You've got a cruise control push down stalk, and it will do an active cruise control system as well if you want that. So it can do stopping, starting and steering, and even speed limit obeyance if that's what you want. But I've just got it on the standard cruise control. I don't know why it needs to talk to tell me that it's turned off the cruise control, but it does that. So hopefully that's a setting you can adjust, because I would say that it might be frustrating if that happens every single time. And in terms of adjusting your speed and also the distance to the car ahead, you use a little toggle on the steering wheel for that too. So look, it's a matter of learning a few new things when it comes to getting to grips with the controls, but you will. I mean, it's not unlike lots of other new EVs or electrified models on the market. Rightio, let's talk efficiency. There's just one number to contend with for the Aion V. You'll see it on your screen now. Yes, just like petrol and diesel, the lower the number, the better in terms of kilowatt hours per 100 Ks. That is a pretty good claim, I've got to say. And if you're wondering what I've seen over my testing today, it hasn't been, like I said, the most strenuous of tests, but probably representative of what a lot of people will do with their car, just commuting, higher speeds, but also a little bit of stop start and urban driving too. And on screen now, you'll see that number. I think that is pretty good and pretty efficient for an EV in this class. And also, that should mean pretty good driving range from this battery pack too. So, stacking up all right from the drive experience perspective. At the time I'm filming this, there is no ANCAP rating for this car, but there is a 5-star Euro NCAP rating, and it has heaps of standard spec and tech for the money. If you're into safety, you're gonna like this one. You've got autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian, cyclist, junction, and car detection. There's also adaptive cruise control with intelligent cruise, which can stop, start, steer, and obey speed limits for you if you want. Plus, there is a speed sign recognition system. It's probably the most annoying thing about the drive experience, quite frankly. It chimes incessantly if you are over speed by like 1 kilometer, and that could get annoying, but you can turn it off. There's also a driver monitoring camera. I didn't find it too bad. And you've got plenty of other great features: blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, a brilliant surround view camera system with plenty of different adjustable views to it. And you've also got plenty of airbags fitted to this car. There's dual front, front side, front center, and curtain coverage for both rows of seats. So 7 in total. And look, the safety stuff, I think it gets a big thumbs up in most ways anyway. There are still a few unknowns when it comes to the ownership prospects here, but let me tell you about the warranty stuff that's on offer. An 8-year unlimited kilometer warranty for the vehicle itself. Then there's an 8-year 200,000 kilometer warranty for the battery pack, which is really, really good, more than most of the rivals out there. And you get 5 years of roadside assistance included as well. Servicing details, including the service intervals and the service pricing, still to be confirmed at the time I'm filming this. So I reckon this could be a very, very strong option for those who are looking for, hopefully, a trouble-free ownership experience. Is this the perfect electric SUV? No, but it is very, very good for the money. I'm super impressed with the GAC Aion V. I think it looks great. It's got plenty of space, loads of spec and tech, and the charging speeds and EV range are really, really good. What do you think about it? Have your say in the comments section. I'd love to hear from you. Could this be the right EV? Have your say. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you when I see you.